And just a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago, in fact it was 5 years ago on the 7th of July, because Facebook threw up a photo memory. You know how Facebook throws up memories from your timeline from years ago? And it threw up a photo memory of me showing, you might have seen it, I reposted it last week, of my hand and my nails painted black, because I'd had them painted black for a big presentation I was doing. And that big presentation I did marked the end of my massive and crippling fear of public speaking. Up until that point, there was no way in the world I thought I could ever be doing what I'm doing right now. And I'm not talking about any little fear. I'm talking about, you know, when you go around the room at those networking things and you have to say who you are and what you do? No. I'd go to the toilet. Couldn't do it. What a great idea. So I'm on to you now. If anyone does that in my room, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. So that was massive. And people would say, how did you read the news? Well, it's interesting. Your fear puts parameters around what you can and can't do. So my fear said I could read the news because in my mind that wasn't actually public speaking. It was me in a studio with a microphone, and I didn't think about the 300,000 people listening. But interestingly, if someone actually walked into the studio while I was reading the news, I went to pieces, because then it became public speaking in my mind. And at some point I realised this is just a story I'm telling myself. And the conscious decision to move through that fear was actually the biggest part of the whole process. And, you know, 5 years ago, I was invited to speak to a group of business people here in this actual very room, and that marked the start of this whole journey. And we're now $1 million business. And we wouldn't be $1 million business if I had hung on to that fear. So that struggle about that fear, which I had held for 20 odd years, has become my biggest asset. So it really can, this stuff can absolutely change your life. Absolutely. You can't even, when you have a fear like that, you can't even see, you can't see the horizon because it's just blocking everything you do. And when you move around that, the whole landscape changes.